Okay, we are rolling yet again. We're still here. Welcome, welcome, dear Aquarius. That's you. This is Terra Lumination with your mini generic love and relationship report for September 2018. You know the drill. If you've been here before, watch for your sun, moon, and rising, especially if each one is different. And then reinterpret the whole thing to suit yourself. Once you start feeling themes and tones and like trigger points being activated, you'll start to get it. You'll start to understand sort of more how it works. Watch also, for your significant others. It can really help you. We're going to use the Terra Illumination Crucible spread. It's on the understanding that there's you, dear Aquarius, and a significant other, and a third entity, the relationship itself. And the relationship, my feeling is that it constitutes the crucible. And the crucible is a structure which in its best condition is very strong and can withstand the intense pressures of relationships as we intimate and separate over extended periods of time. Singles, you can watch this too, but you have to allow for the laws of attraction specifically in action, okay? You're always radiating energy. So the question is, what are you attracting back to you? So the other party would be more like the energy of what if, okay? So please allow for that. Young, old, middle, in the middle, whatever it is, it's the same vibration. So before we get into it, I'm going to show you a few notes here for the month with the Astrobabble from Terra Illumination. Yes, this is another Astro Doodle. Here it is. Okay, this is just a generic chart for the whole planet. Okay, we're putting Aries on the horizon, kaboom, and putting everything else in here. Now, I'm not, this is just my interpretation, my glimpse for the month, and I'm particularly singling out the stress points because we tend to take the sweet stuff for granted, and we're just going to cruise through that and enjoy it and make the most of it. So it's interesting because even though like the September season for us here is actually going to be a much gentler in some ways than banging around through those eclipses recently, but we still have a lot of stressful things going on in the month. So you can't just like sit and lounge on your hammock through September. You still got to be very sharp, very alert, okay? Especially you Aquarius here, because look what's happening. Mars has been in here for a long time. It's still here. It's retrograding right now, early on in Capricorn, but then it goes direct, and for the whole month, it's cruising back into Aquarius, and then all the way through October as well, okay? So there's still a lot of pressure on you, Aquarius, from Mars. So you might be feeling very activated, frustrated, angry, excited, motivated, driven, passionate, uh, just pumped full of energy. But it can also, if it's not channeled right, it can be very, very frustrating, like very volatile, because there's a lot of stressors going on here between Uranus and Jupiter and some of the other planets coming into Scorpio over here. So what amounts to what are these like it's like this almost a whole month where you've got these ongoing on and off like T-squares and grand crosses like flipping in and out. Now it's a theoretical one because a lot of it is on here on the North Node in Leo, all right? So you can look at it that way, but that's still a lot of stress on you, Aquarius, coming from this angle, coming from these angles, okay? And you might feel them in terms of oppositions, the relationship dynamics. So you would be being asked, like, how can you be your most awesome, amazing Leo type self while you're at the same time an Aquarian? I know it sounds very contradictory. That's that's the energy of ambivalence. Have you ever heard of that? Ambivalence is some of the hardest energy to carry that there is, because it's like, how can you be this when you're supposed to be that? How can you be that when you're supposed to be this? Doing them simultaneously. Okay, so please allow for like deep undercurrents of ongoing stressors throughout the whole month. Okay, I'm not even going to mention any specific dates because this is continuous on and off throughout the whole month. All right. Whew, wow. God, that was heavy. I think I just went into it so much because it's like right in your face, Aquarius. Okay. So please forgive me if I rattled on a little bit. Just had to get it out there for you. and probably some of the other reports are going to be shorter. Okay, but anyway, thank you for still being here, dear Aquarius. We're going to make the best of it. No jumpers, no flyers, no oracles, no reversals. Sorry about that. There's not enough time or room, and we'll just have to make the best of it. If you want to get deep into it, you can go to terraillumination.com and go from there. But otherwise, hopefully this will help you through the month. Alrighty. So bless you. Okay. Bless you, dear Aquarius. Bless this deck. Bless the readings. Bless the channel. Bless all the cables, the computers, the cameras, the internet, and the whole platform itself to make this happen. Okay? Cards are cut. Here we go. This would be your love energy that you're radiating here. It's part of your full radiance, but we're focusing on love. Over here, the energy of the significant other. Okay? Over here, deep inside of you, deep inside of the other, and at the core, the crucible, if you can see that, that's the crucible itself. This would be the energy of the relationship. And a bit of momentum here, dynamics. If you think of this as constantly in a state of flow, where is this going? What's this leading to? What's it creating? What are you creating here? We're going to look at over here at circumstantial energy. Think of it as weather. It's out there. It's influential. It's not necessarily yours. It could be a reflection of your energy back to you. But think of it as broad out there. Like think of it as the weather. Okay. Remember, this is a relationship, love and relationship reading, but it's not a couple's reading. Okay. There's not two of you here. It's just for you, Aquarius, but we're all factoring a significant other. Okay. Let's have a look. You've got the Tower. So this doesn't surprise me at all. It's a big kaboom month. It wouldn't surprise me if you're getting totally blasted right now in some way, shape, or form. And I don't really watch the news or anything, but it's been very hard for me not to notice the weather. And I'm talking about actual weather, because when I do a lot of my work here, I like to check out the weather for myself, and that shows glimpses of other things. And it's very, very tumultuous across the planet right now. Earthquakes, tornadoes, hurricanes, volcanoes, flooding, fires. It's just apocalyptic, okay? And a lot of that is to do in terms of, like, if you want to get serious with the heavy duty, like professional astrologers and the academic ones, they know all about this stuff. You could probably relate it here to the very tight square between Mars and Uranus. This is extremely stressful energy, very, very volatile. Anything can crack or break at any moment, literally just like a hair trigger. And then you put that in stress with the Leo North Node, and add more stress from the Scorpio energy here, kerblam, all right? So if you feel as though you're kind of like surroundings are just blowing up around you in terms of relationship dynamics, well, there you go, okay? Just allow for that. It's one of the things about Tower energy, as apocalyptic as it can be, it can also be profoundly one of the most powerful healing cards in the deck, because it just blows up everything that is irrelevant, and you're just left with rubble, and you have to create new beginnings. You don't have a choice. So I think it's very much related to the eclipses. Remember, you just came out of two heavy-duty eclipses, the Leo and Aquarius full moon, and then the Leo new moon, like facing you full-on opposition from over here. So that's a tremendous amount of pressure. That was in the middle of August, but now you've got to deal with the aftershocks for months to come. All right. So I think that's what this is all about. And you can handle it, Aquarius, because we all have to do that. All right. Over here, let's have a look. What are you radiating? Wow, big cards. Look at that. You got the world. You got the whole friggin' world here. So it might be literally almost like an apocalyptic thing here, where it's literally like your whole world is getting blown up when it comes to love and relationship, and there's nothing you can do about it. If you want to think of it as fated, you can. These are such big cards. It can make you feel as though you have absolutely no say in what's going on, so you don't have any choices except to go with it. So if you feel as though a complete way of life in terms of love and relationship is just getting blown up to pieces systematically, like, you know how you can have these rolling thunder type storms, like the storm blows in and then it's followed by another storm and then another storm, like earthquakes followed by aftershock and aftershock and aftershock, that kind of thing. And it's just like, oh my gosh, how much more can you handle? But it's ultimately for your evolution, because everything is exactly as it should be. It can't be any other way. The planets are just doing exactly what they do. It's not personal. You know, they're not trying to mess you up or destroy your life. And they're not trying to, uh, you know, cause deliberate upheaval. It's just happening because this is how they are and who they are and what they do. And we are affected on the global scale and a very minutely personal scale. And it's happening really in your face. So it's the end of one way of being and the beginning of a new way of being. Okay. And there's no way out of it. So let's have a look. Maybe you had something amazing, or maybe you just had, and then, you know, it's almost like, you know, what happens in outer space, Aquarius, when you get these amazing, like spectacular, slow motion, galactic events, like the end of one thing, and then the beginning of a whole new thing. You know, what are they radiating over here? More big cards. Look at that. So you might be relating with someone who is in very dire straits, but very determined to get their act together, to get their life together in order that they can find a way to succeed in the context of this relationship. Now, that's their business, okay? That's what they would be radiating here. This is the Chariot. So my feeling is here, like, if they are not showing very obvious signs of doing everything and being everything they can to really get their acts together so that they can win, achieve, and be their fullest self, then this would be a tremendous, like, driving force that's starting to bubble up inside of them. Like, they're determined for this to happen. And it's very much their energy about themselves. And you might just be witnessing all this in the context of this relationship, okay? So you might be like, it's almost like watching a spectacular event where you're part of it and you know it, they're part of it and they know it, but you get blown so far apart that really all you can do is witness the whole spectacle from outer space and watch yourselves like you're watching a movie. All right, so let's have a look deeper down. What's going on inside of you? Oh, okay. Well, we've got the Knight of Pentacles here. So my feeling with the Knight of Pentacles, this is very, very generous, kind, loving, giving energy in terms of evidence of love. In other words, it's not just concepts or conversations or texts or emails. It's actual hard evidence, like, I'm coming to see you, or I am going to do everything I can to make this work out the way it needs to work out for us, for me, for the relationship, okay? All I have are the best of intentions, and I'm going to put everything I've got behind it, all my resources, all my gifts, my talents, and I'm going to be walking away from anything and everything that does not work, and all I care about is what does work, okay? Facts, reality, and just good, solid, you know, stability, okay? It's like, to me, this is very luscious and very wholesome to have here, because these energies are almost like things that you can't control. So it's good that you've got some kind of stability, or at least a very, very strong desire to create stability here and make the best of what's happening here. My feeling is that you, Aquarius, are being literally shaken up and becoming very aware, like you're actually living through the moment, through this month, where you're becoming aware, like as you live through these apocalyptic type of energies, that you can already see, get a glimpse of the outcomes, and like, okay, I know what I'm going to do now when all of this stuff falls apart and all of that stuff falls apart. I'm going to take all the stuff that would be considered like refuse or destruction, and I'm going to basically repurpose everything. Like, you know how they demolish a house, but they keep all the good stuff, every plank, every finishing, furnishing, whatever it is, and they use that and they repurpose it and refinish it for part of the new structure. Okay, so I think of this as very good, wholesome energy from you, Aquarius, towards the other, towards the relationship, towards yourself, knowing that you don't really have a choice here. Okay, let's have a look. What are they radiating? Okay, with the Three of Pentacles, it looks like they're almost like on the same page because it's like they don't have a choice either. Like in the context of this relationship dynamic, if everything is going to get blown to pieces in terms of the way you know it already, in terms of the way they know it already, because if it's getting totally blown up for you, it's effectively going to get totally blown up for them. And so it looks like they're making a decision. Okay, well, I guess I'm going to have to deal with it too. It's on the understanding that it's a team effort here with the Three of Pentacles. It's very much about your significant other realizing that they're going to have to kind of like work in alliance with you, even though it's like even at the planning stage or the early stages of structures and developments and reconfiguring about what we're going to do and how we're going to do it, because they too would be coming out of the eclipses just like you. But again, for them, it's a completely different experience because they're a completely different person. But in the context of the relationship, this is very harmonious. It's like no matter how catastrophic or apocalyptic or amazing and wonderful, uh, it looks like they are determined to make the best of it, knowing that there's, a lot to do, a lot that is not fully understood at this moment in time, and you can only do what you can in the moment with the tools and the assets and the resources that you have at that time. And then you just keep going on the understanding and the trust that you do have a compatibility here between the significant other and yourself. So at least that's how they're perceiving things. Now, however that works out, it's a whole other thing. Maybe they're going to have to completely reconfigure their life after everything blows up as you reconfigure your life after everything blows up, or while everything's blowing up, or while you're in the process of living through the blowing up, if you see what I mean here. Okay, if you think of this as like the energy for the month, like just living through this, because let me go back here. This isn't just like a one-day calendar moment. A lot of this is going on through the whole month. It's a tremendous amount of pressure. There's lots of supportive things happening, but I'm not going to emphasize that. This is such stressful stuff that this is where we need to pay attention so that you don't, suffer because of this. You make the best of it, which is what looks like what's happening here between the both of you. Deliberate, conscious decisions and efforts to make the best out of something very, very radically shifting and changing for you, for the other, and for the relationship itself. Okay, let's have a look at the core here. Wow, you got the Ten of Pentacles here. Look at this. It's gorgeous. This is like it's almost like in a way, I like this even better right now than the Ten of Cups, because this to me is like the hard evidence of all the work and everything that you've invested in yourselves and each other, where you can see it, like the evidence, like, my gosh, we're going to do this. We're going to figure it out some way, somehow. We're going to rise up from the ashes. We're going to reinvest, repurpose, restructure, remodel, rebuild, take full advantage of all of this stressful energy instead of letting ourselves be crushed by this. And we're going to create something really gorgeous here. Something really good comes out of this. Maybe it's to do with finances, home, structure, family bonding, enrichment of self, enrichment of other, enrichment of the relationship in a way that is very evident. Like you can definitely see it. They can see it. You can see it. But it means having to live through like the total demolition of the way things were. Now, because we're dealing with the eclipses, yeah, this is September, but those aftershocks of the eclipses are going to go on for months. And we have one final Leo Aquarius eclipse, I think early next year, 2019, which is going to be the very end of it. Okay, so please allow for an extended, flow of energy here. All right, let's have a look. What about momentum here? Okay, well, you've got the 8 here. You've got the strength card here. Okay, this is strength, and to me, it feels like this is you, the other, and the relationship being put under intense pressure by the energies. We've already left, This is already passed over, okay? The Leo sun has already passed, but now you're dealing with how does this actually work for you in life, okay? And to me, it feels overall that it means you're really being stretched and tweaked out and basically like your ankles and wrists are tied and being tied tighter and tighter and tighter as these energies come in and put so much pressure on you, on the other, on the relationship, where it's almost like the purpose of all of that is to crack your ego, like rip it, destroy the ego, destroy the sense of egoic power, lust, desire, earthly power, and transform that into a higher level of energy of basically surrendering and being, taking all like the amazing currents and energies flowing in here, like this apocalyptic energy, like I was talking about earlier with like one of those, outer space events, like these huge plasma things or quasar, whatever it is, I don't know what they're called, but where you get these spectacular shifts and changes, and out of it is birthed a whole new thing where the frequencies and the energy of all of that is much more in line with the spiritual, let's say, pathways for yourself, for the other, and for the relationship itself. Okay, so that the relationship now has much more of a spiritual meaning to it, as opposed to like boy, girl, girl, boy, man, woman, woman, man, in the United States, with a heavy emphasis, for example, on, mortgages, credit cards, rent, property, jobs, careers, kids, all of that, three-dimensional stuff. We're taking it to the next level here where it's like, okay, that's cool. We got all that stuff. It's just like, let's be grateful for who we are, what we've got, and let's move on and take that to the next level. It's only understanding that to go from where we are now to where we have to be requires a complete demolition job. Okay, a complete demolition and total rebuild. Okay, demolition and total rebuild using your existing talents, gifts, and resources between the both of you, some way, somehow. All right. So I'm not even going to touch these. These are almost like, the energy here is so strong. It's just like, now you deal with the energy so that this can come back into play. You know how we talk about we intimate and we separate. We intimate and we separate through calmer times. But with the eclipses and everything, it could have been one of those. We intimate, we separate, and then the dust settles, and we get back to the old we intimate, we separate thing again. Okay, so I hope you get something out of that. I'm going to leave it at this for now. You can reinterpret however you want. Thank you for visiting Terra Lumination. All the best, Aquarius. I'm sure you can handle it. Bye bye.